Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened, running on PlayStation 5. And I guess this is a remake. It's kind of the year of remakes, 2023. I never played the original, so this will just be a new game to me. I do like these Frogware's Sherlock Holmes games. They're always they're always just like a little bit funky. But generally, they do a pretty good job. So hopefully this will be fun as well. It's at a little bit lower of a price as well, which I think helps. If it's getting audiences into a new series. Although in this case, the Sherlock Holmes games, they've been making Sherlock Holmes games for quite a while now. And this is a mix of Sherlock Holmes and Cthulhu. So the two universes, coexisting at the same place in the same time. Pretty interesting setup. Chapter 1: The Shadow over London. Baker Street. Oddly enough, no bakers on this street. Oh, so these games are always like a little funky.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
Oh, good, we are at 60 hertz. I was worried this was going to be a 30 hertz game, even on PlayStation 5. I mean, when they redid Sinking City for PlayStation 5, they made sure it was 60 hertz as well. London Advertiser, September 28, 1882. Tension between England and Sweden are running high after a series of unfortunate mishaps during a recent visit to London by Swedish Princess Ilder. Chief among the scandals was the embarrassment of the British diplomatic corps as a result of the unexplained disappearance of Princess Ilder's personal bodyguard. A longtime member of her inner circle took the opportunity to explore London while off duty and never returned from his late night. Spokesman for the police assured the Advertiser that they are confident the bodyguard will be located, as he is a striking representative of the Scandinavian people. A man like that gets noticed, whether by his peers at the gentlemen's clubs or the fair nightingales who comfort them.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
Let's take a look at the setting here. I mean, it looks good. Again, it's not like the absolute best you'll see on the PlayStation 5, but it does look pretty good. It's got enough. Let's see, want to address something more appropriate for the weather? Open the casebook with pause, navigate to the wardrobe tab, and R1. Put on a hat. Put on a hat, huh? Okay. Am I going outside? Oh, I guess I am. That's where the bin is.
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Hold R2 to run. I should probably wear a coat. It is raining.
Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here! Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
What were today's headlines?
Any breaking news today?
The dog accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes, yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
What happened to my newspaper?
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson?
Sure, now I can take the day off.
What about the man at our doorstep?
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises.
What did you do to the paper?
Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Where was he headed?
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears, if you have more shillings.
You've got new questions in your mind palace. Open the
Get the
casebook.
Strand! Get your
and
copy of the
navigate
Strand
to the mind
here!
palace. Inside, select relevant pieces of evidence to deduce the answer. Okay. Who runs strands? Newsboy says me. Barnes, local bookseller. Mr. Barnes is involved in the scheme. The newsboy said the suspicious man was carrying a stack of books. And this morning, Mr. Barnes, the local bookseller, delivered a novel for Dr. Watson. A detective spying for assassination. A loud bang. A visit to Mr. Barnes is in order.
Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his...
Get the Strand. Get your copy
Not
of the
every
Strand.
pawn
Pin
knows
evidence
its
for
part
quick
of the
access
game.
to the information from your casebook. Open the casebook with option. Pin the evidence with a bookshop photo by pressing
Get the Strand.
square.
Get your copy of the Strand here.
Trying to find the bookshop. Keys. Farm Fresh. Oh, here's Barnes.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
Observe. Bags under eyes. The effects of overwork. Ink. Newspaper ink. Leans heavily on his right leg. Sore left leg. High heel. Wants to look taller. Mr. Barnes has developed a limp and has large bags under his eyes, the result of long hours of intense work. He's not very confident and tries to appear taller by wearing high heels. It seems unlikely that such a person would be involved in a murder plot, even if the ink on his hands suggests he is the one who soiled the newspaper. Nevertheless, Mr. Barnes could still be a pawn in a bigger plan without his knowledge. Workaholic or blackmail victim. Mr. Barnes has large bags under his eyes, the result of sleep. Has developed a limp, likely the result of an attack. Wears high heels, look taller or stronger, presumably to deter future violence. Mr. Barnes is being threatened by someone and might be involved in a plot against me. Yeah, sure, let's do that one. Character portrait, Mr. Barnes. Mr. Barnes has... okay. That's fine. I think I like
Mr.
that plot
Barnes?
point.
A word. Ah, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
I want to highlight interactive areas within your environment.
The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
Catalog of exotic plants on Barnes' counter. The name of the catalog reads Everlasting Plants for an Everlasting Love.
Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. Finest view London has to offer. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
I wonder if Watson is an imaginary character like the last game that we played, which I thought was an interesting take on Watson not actually being a real person. Is that really all there is? I guess so. Why is Barnes acting so strangely? Barnes broken letter, cryptology book at Barnes, exotic plants catalog, observations, the flowers on display. Involved in the scheme. Exotic plants catalog. Cryptology books. Bronze broken ladder. See, London Advertiser. Tensions between England. About that Scandinavian representative. This is the Swedish representative. I don't know how this would all work. Barnes, the local bookseller, ruined the newspaper. I don't understand this. Can't unpin that. Do I need something else?
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think.
Microstations use similar signals to communicate with each other. There's a bouquet of dead flowers in the window. Barnes' bookshop. It is placed as an impoverished stand made from a pile of books. It seems that Mr. Barnes wants to make sure that his flowers are clearly visible. Get that on display. I just don't have enough evidence. There are several books about cryptology on Barnes' counter. The books are all worn and not for sale. He has frequently consulted them and left annotations. So, catalog of exotic plants on Barnes' counter. The name of the catalog reads Everlasting Plants for an Everlasting Love. A relatively new stepladder on the corner of Barnes' shop has a freshly broken rung. Barnes. Among our morning deliveries is a book for Watson. It was from Mr. Barnes, the bookseller, who prefers to do deliveries himself. Attached to the book is Barnes' business card, which includes the address of his store just around the corner. Everlasting love. Questions are shown in the Mind Palace. I'll answer all questions to progress to the next chapter. Strand is missing. Watson brought the morning's newspaper. Watson brought in the morning's post, but the Strand is missing. He disposed of it before entering the building because the pages were soiled. There is still a chance it might be found in the dustbin. The newspaper is indeed in the bin. So he definitely ruined it, but I don't get it. Dead flowers on display. I mean, that's not connected though. Well, I can't connect anything. Maybe there's nothing here yet?
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily, I know, not very original. The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall. I should have worn something warmer. You guys don't have anything to say. I mean, there's no other evidence.
The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket.
I don't understand how I'm supposed to make these connections. I know I need to highlight one of these. I need to pin one of these. Dead flowers, cryptology, exotic plants. Bronze broken ladder. This seems to make sense. Am I highlighting the wrong thing? I just don't understand. Let's see.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Oh, did she hit him on the head with that?
A familiar spine. Is this what I found in my dustbin? It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them. Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Luxury fabric unusual for work attire. Distant look. Avoids eye contact or distracted. Wearing makeup for beauty or concealment. So is the bookseller having an affair? Mourning brooch. Honoring deceased husband. Oh, okay. So our bookseller wants to hook up with the flower girl across the street? Is that the idea? Queen would change shoes upon arrival. Mrs. Fleming wears a mourning brooch in memory of her late husband. Her dress is made from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for work. Her shoes show no traces of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. Her eyes constantly dart around the street, seemingly in search for something. Perhaps she's waiting for someone. While Mrs. Fleming cherishes the memory of her departed husband, she is trying to move on, as suggested by her makeup and nice outfit. Perhaps she is dressing to attract someone's attention, or simply because she has learned to love herself again. Well, it's ready to move on.
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
Provide evidence.
I'll be off. What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
So she knows nothing about the dead flowers, but hopes the bouquet is for her.
I don't know anything about this, sorry. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break. I don't know anything about this, sorry.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes, no, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Okay. So it was a piece of the flower lady, huh? Barnes is in love with Mrs. Fleming. I mean, that seems pretty obvious. Barnes displays a bouquet of dead flowers to attract the attention of Mrs. Fleming, a florist. He may hope she will come into his shop and give him watering advice, or it could simply be a symbol of his desperation. Barnes anonymously gifted her a cactus, which he ordered from a catalog on his counter. A questionable choice, but for Barnes, a symbol of his eternal love, since the catalog represents these cacti as immortal. Plainly, this is the same cactus he dropped on the Strand outside 221 Baker Street. Now to hear the full story.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
Mrs. Fleming's new cactus.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer.
My paper was ruined.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus in your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
I know what to do.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
Strand, September 28th, 1882. All saltpeter explosion rocks docks. Locals at the port of London had a rude awakening last night with loud bangs and thick red smoke disturbing the peace. Merchant ship Moskva had docked at Pier N3 in the early evening en route to Europe when it was rocked by several concussive explosions. The Port Authority is yet to comment on the incident, and it is unknown if any crew members were on the board at the time. Eyewitnesses report seeing saltpeter leaking into the river, but with the area still off limits to workers and the public, it may be some time before we have a full account of what transpired.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No? Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
All right, why don't we stop it there? This is Apostrophe. You've been watching Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened, I guess remastered, or how about The Awakened 2023, running on PlayStation 5? Yeah, I mean, if you've played one of these Sherlock Holmes games, you're going to be pretty comfortable with this one. It's set up a lot like all the other ones with the finding observable evidence, looking for documents and clues, and then connecting them all in the Mind Palace. Basically like a visual representation of the train of thought Holmes has based on the evidence and your observations. And much like the other games too, you're given a set of conclusions, but neither is definitive. That means even though you may think, you may start with one conclusion in your Mind Palace, it may end up being something different at the very end when you've gathered all your evidence. So I think that gives like a little bit of replayability, and it also kind of changes like the motivation between what you're thinking and what your goal is. I do like the way the game runs. It does run at 60 hertz. That's very nice. Things do have a pretty good look to them. Has a maybe not quite CG look to them, but a very nicely upscaled PS4 look to them. And again, that's a compliment. It's not a put down in any way. All the voice work, of course, is really done pretty well. I think Holmes and Watson are both, they both are characters that look and sound exactly how I would imagine, a good interpretation of them being. So yeah, check it out if you're a fan of this series, these series of games from Frogwares. This is yet another one to occupy your mind with and challenge you here and there. But if you want to jump into a game, then I certainly don't see why this wouldn't be something that you'd be interested in if you're interested in this kind of gameplay. Check it out. We'll be playing more of it as time goes on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.